and I have several bits for it. But this is the drill that he used for most of his working life until they started using electric drills, of course.
What was he doing? What was his business?
He was a carpenter.
Well, my dad was too.
Yeah.
Builder.
And Dad could make cabinets. And another skill that he developed over his life is picking locks. And my mother, it always irritated my mother, because I can remember one Christmas day, some lady called up and said, "We can't get in our house, John. Can you come?" And so on Christmas Day, Dad went up and picked the lock on their front door.
Well, didn't the jeweler call?
And the jeweler called once, and he had an alarm system. And he called once and said, "I lost the key to get in." Dad picked the lock and didn't set off the alarm. I really, seriously, I wish he would have taught me to do that. But he never even tried to teach me. And that's another rather serious thing. He never taught me to do things like that. He never taught me carpenter skills or anything like that, because he didn't want me to be a carpenter or to be somebody associated with manual labor. He wanted something else for me. He never went to school. He never went to school full time after the 4th grade. And he just didn't want that kind of thing for me. And he was the one who really insisted on me going to college. I wasn't that happy about it, but he insisted on it. Another tool that I have is an old drill, or an old planer. I did have several of these, but this is the only one that I kept when we moved. That's another example of the kind of tool that he used. But he was a carpenter, and he worked hard all of his life. And I can remember him bringing home the $25 and $30 checks for a week. And he worked for that small company in my hometown of Exira, Iowa. He worked for them for 60 years, I suppose. A long time, a long, long time. So anyway, Mary has already said we come from a Danish community in rural southwestern Iowa. And everybody was either a farmer or a common laborer. Thank you.
Thing I can think of that she couldn't do. But I have a booklet that I wrote about stories that she told us when she saw her first automobile. But this story I'm going to tell you about, she had a lot of cousins that were just kids everywhere, and they lived in a tent in Arkansas. And inside that tent, they had a lot of the globes, those big globes, where they used oil and lit it, you know. Well, the group of kids were together, and she and a sibling had to go to the tent for the night. And at that time, there were these stocky caps that fit here, and they had a long tail on them. I don't know if you've seen those. All the kids wore them. They went in the tent with the light on, and they were in the rocking chair, rocking back and forth. And the tail of this hat was flopping back and forth like this. Well, the other kids walked up to the tent and saw this ghost in there. And it was just, they said, it's gone mad. Just look at that. It's just flopping back and forth and back and forth. And they started screaming and yelling. There was a ghost inside that tent, and they started running away. Well, my mother, on the inside of the tent, heard them screaming and yelling. So they ran out of the tent and started chasing the kids down the meadow. So they finally caught up with them and said, well, that was us. It wasn't a ghost in there. It was us. But it was very funny. She loved to tell us about that story when the ghost got in the tent.